How to travel in Upland. I'm YK2012 and today I'm going to explain to you everything you need to know about traveling between two cities in Upland. The first thing you want to know is what city you're currently located in and where you want to travel to. Once you have those pieces of information, it's not completely intuitive on how to get from A to B. For starters, just like in the real world, you can't necessarily travel from Manhattan all the way directly to Fresno. You would have to travel first through San Francisco. Now, you may not know that if you're new to Upland. That's why we've created a travel bot that will help you to determine both the cheapest and the fastest way to travel between two cities. Make sure to click the link in the upper right hand corner to see that video and learn how our travel bot works. Once you have decided where you're traveling to, you're going to want to make sure that you have enough cents in order to get there. I'm going to click on my block explorer and this paper airplane, and I'm going to be able to see here the number of cents that I have. 11 is the maximum number of cents that you can hold at any given period of time, so I know that I'm good to start traveling. If you don't have the number of cents that you want, make sure to pick some up before you start traveling. Before I show you the proper way of traveling, I want to show you one of the most common mistakes made by new players when traveling from one city to another. Now, I'm here in the Bronx, and if I wanted to travel all the way over here to Rutherford, what too many people do is they will just go ahead and click on the terminal here in Rutherford, or any other property in Rutherford for that matter, and they will try and send themselves there. So if I click here on the terminal, and it's going to ask me if I want to go to the train terminal, of course I do. I'm going to have to choose which of these terminals I want to go to. It's not important which terminal you send yourself to. It's important to take a look at the cost and the number of remaining seats at that terminal. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose terminal number 1 of 4. It's going to ask me if I want to pay the 5 UPEX and use a send in order to get there. I'm going to go ahead and say confirm. And then I'm going to get an error message. It's going to say send not allowed. Sorry, but you can't send your Explorer to this property from another city. Now, this is something that makes complete logical sense. If you first wanted to travel to Rutherford, you want to take a train to Rutherford, but you need to take the train from the city that you're in order to get to Rutherford. So going and clicking on the city you want to go to is not the way of properly traveling between cities. So I just centered myself back around my block explorer, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send myself to the train station in the city that I'm in. So here's the train station in the Bronx. I'm going to click here. I'm going to say yes, I want to go to the train terminal. And here I'm going to choose from any one of these as well, and I'm going to pay the 20 UPEX. I'm going to confirm that. And now my block explorer is headed to the train terminal in my city. Now once I'm here, I'm going to click once again the train terminal in order to enter the terminal itself. Here I am inside the train terminal, and I can see from the Bronx we can travel either to Brooklyn, to Manhattan, or to Rutherford. Now this is where it's important to know where you're going and to have used our travel bot, because from the Bronx, if you wanted to travel to Chicago, you wouldn't necessarily know how to do that, and you could get confused without knowing your full path. So if I wanted to go to Chicago, I would have to take the plane from Manhattan. So I'm going to take myself to Manhattan by paying another 10 UPEX. Now this is different from the send fee. This is the fee that you have to pay in order to use the transportation. So the send fee will get you to the terminal, and this additional fare is the train fare from the Bronx to Manhattan. So I'm going to pay the 10 UPEX, and it's going to take me 3 minutes to get there. So it's been 3 minutes, and now I've arrived in Manhattan. I'm going to go ahead and click disembark, and now you'll be able to see that my block explorer is now inside Manhattan at the train terminal. I want to continue my travels now on to Chicago from Manhattan. So what I need to do is send myself over to the airport. Another big problem that a lot of new players have is actually locating the airport that is connected to Manhattan. There is no airport in Manhattan, but you have to zoom out and locate the airport, which is east of Brooklyn. Now, that's not very intuitive at all, and a lot of players have difficulty locating it. Many of them make a mistake thinking that they need to travel to Brooklyn in order to get to the airport, or vice versa. Once they're at the airport, they think they need to travel to Brooklyn. And before getting to another city, I need to send myself to the airport. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the airport itself, and I'm going to choose Terminal 2. Again, it doesn't necessarily matter which terminal you head to. And I'm going to go ahead and choose terminal number 5 because it is the cheapest send fee. There are only 24 remaining, so we can see that based on the number of terminals, some people decide to list the prices as being more expensive. So I'm going to choose the cheapest one here, and I'm going to send myself here to the terminal. And I'm going to confirm that. It's going to tell me it costs 35 UPIX and I have to use a send. I'm going to confirm. And now I'm heading over to the terminal. So that was my send fee, and now I'm going to enter the terminal itself by clicking on the terminal once again. And here we can see that I've arrived at the terminal, and now I have several options in terms of places that I want to travel to. So I can go to San Francisco, Chicago, Kansas City, New Orleans, or Nashville from the airport terminal in Manhattan. If I wanted to send myself to Chicago, I would go ahead and click on Chicago. It would show me how long it's going to take and what the price is, and I would just go ahead and pay for that, just like I did when I was traveling from the Bronx to Manhattan. But I'm not going to do that. I want to exit the terminal, and now I'm actually going to show you how to travel back to Manhattan. So once again, if I zoom out, we can see here that I'm at the airport, which is just east of Brooklyn. And once again, many people will get confused and they will try and send themselves here to the terminal in Brooklyn. Go to the terminal, pay the fee, confirm, and it will tell me that I cannot, sorry, but you can't send your Explorer to this property from another city. Now this is exactly like I explained before. Logically within the game, the airport terminal is not connected to Brooklyn. It is in fact connected to Manhattan. So from the airport, I would need to send myself to the terminal or any property within Manhattan. So I'm going to go ahead and send myself to one of my own properties. Now the advantage of doing that is that I don't actually have to pay a send fee. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my property. I'm going to send myself there. And see here, it's not asking me if I want to pay the send fee or use a send, because it is my property and those are free to send to. And I just went from the airport to my property over here. So that, in summary, that's how you're able to get out of the New York airport. It's always connected to Manhattan, and that's something extremely important to remember. I hope this video was informative and helped you. Please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for our next video.